All right. Welcome to Unfiltered. This is a side note. If you are enjoying these unfiltered videos, please tell a friend, share these videos with other people, press the like button, and please subscribe to this channel. It helps me out tremendously. Today I'm going to be reading Matthew chapter 18, starting at verse 6. Now, what happens right before this is the disciples, they're asking Jesus, who's the greatest in the kingdom? As I said in the last video, Jesus brings a child in their midst. And so when this story continues, there's the disciples around Jesus and there's a child in the midst. And he starts to explain this. He says, if anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to stumble. Such things must come, but woe to the person through whom they come. If your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life maimed or crippled than to have 2 hands or 2 feet and be thrown into eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into the fire of hell. You know, sometimes Jesus is explaining these things, and he's explaining these things as a visual, as an understanding. And it's drastic, but at the same time, he's trying to get a point. And he is letting you know that if there are certain things that cause you to stumble, then you need to cut them off so that you don't stumble. And then he also starts while having the child in front of him, and he says, anyone who causes these little ones to stumble, it is better for them to have a large millstone around their neck and to be drowned in the sea. It is better because the punishment that's going to be coming in the future for those who cause little ones to stumble. People who attack children, people who have done harm for children. That is why you must be forgiving, because a punishment is coming their way. He already guaranteed it. The thing about life in this story, if you do not know yourself, then you're not going to be able to figure out what causes you to stumble. Those who are prone to falling should not be walking in slippery places. Those who are prone to falling should not be walking in slippery places. But if you do not know yourself, then you don't know what makes you stumble. You know, it's interesting because being sober right now, it has caused me to have to take a real honest look at myself. Not a dishonest look, not where I'm looking in denial. I mean a real honest look in the mirror where you are looking at yourself and you're evaluating, who am I? And I will say this because many people live and they die and they have no idea who they are. There's a unique experience that I'm having to go through right now. And some people would say it was a hindrance. Sometimes you see something difficult that you're having to go through in life, and you see it as, I don't really want to go through it. But what you're not seeing it as, it's really an opportunity. It may be difficult. It may be pulling out strength in you that you never thought you had. But going through this difficult time, after you go through it, you're going to know yourself better than you did before you started. So sometimes we get discouraged because of the work we have to do when we need to be focused on the outcome at the end. Many people live their life, and if you ask them who they are, they tell you their occupation. I'm a school teacher. I'm a lawyer. That's what you do. That's not who you are. Many people have no idea who they are. And when you don't know who you are and you get into a business or you get into a relationship because you don't know your identity and you don't know yourself, then you start to become what other people expect you to become. You are not you. You are what they want you to be. It's very interesting because many people, they live life and then they go deep into their 40s and 50s and they're lost and they're confused. And the reason why is throughout life, instead of knowing themselves properly, they started to adapt and change and be molded and shaped by those around them instead of being themselves. When you know who you are, then you know your strengths and your weaknesses. Jesus said, if your right or left hand or your feet cause you to stumble, then cut one of them off, because it would be better to go through life maimed and crippled than to live life with 2 hands or 2 feet if it causes you to stumble. The only way that you're going to know the weaknesses that you have is to become better acquainted with yourself, to start knowing yourself. Many people live and die and they have no idea who they are. Now, all of my bad choices, all of the experiences that I've had that have been a nightmare and have been awful, they have caused me in my time right now in life to be able to honestly say for the first time in my life, I know who I am. I know what you wanted me to be. I know what you expected me to be. I know what you thought that I was, but I have now come to the terms and the understanding. I have now come to my reality, and now I define myself not based on what you expect of me, but based on my relationship with God. See, now I know what boundaries I need to put up. Now I know what I'm strong in and what I'm weak in. I know what I like and I know what I dislike. And I'm not going to be a chameleon that changes every time I get into a new relationship or get into a new business. And one day I'm dressed like this and the next day I'm dressed like that. People are so lost and they're desperately trying to find their place in this world. They're trying to figure out who they are. And they don't know who they are and they don't love themselves. And if you do not love yourself, you do not make solid decisions for your right now. It is a very, very wise decision before you jump into a relationship or before you make some kind of career move, that you actually know who you are. Many people have been raised by their parents, and their parents said, this is what I want you to be. I want you to go to school for this. I want you to do this. And so they follow along the guidance of their parents who said, I need you to be this. And then they get a degree in something. They start a career in something, and they are miserable and they are unsatisfied because this isn't really what I wanted to do. This is what you wanted me to do. The same is true with relationships. People hear what their spouse or their girlfriend or their boyfriend want them to be, and they start becoming that, not because they enjoy it, but because this is what I need to do to go along, to get along, to go along. This is what I need to fit in. This is how I'm going to make it through this moment. But you can invest so many years doing things that are not you, and then you come to realize later, I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I don't like. I remember someone who was married for 22 years to the same woman. They got together when they were very young, teenage. They were married for 22 years, and that 22-year marriage was absolute hell. It was a nightmare, but it was all that he knew. When he got divorced, I was in the car with him one day, and we were listening to a CD at the time. And an artist came on, he put this CD in, he started listening to this artist, and it was Michael Bolton. And as we're in the car and he's listening to Michael Bolton, all of a sudden he pulls over to the side of the road, he slams the car, he pushes eject on the disc, and he throws that disc out the window, and he looks at me and he says, I have never liked Michael Bolton. See, I have been listening to him because my spouse enjoyed it. I have been doing everything that she wanted me to do, and I was becoming everything that she wanted me to become. But now that I'm divorced and I'm free, I get to make my own decisions, and I don't have to be who she wanted me to be anymore. I spent all of those years investing so much of my life in something that was not even worth my time. When you know who you are, then you can start making decisions in accordance with your destiny, in accordance with your identity. I might have hung out with you in the past, but now that I know myself, I know that you're no good, and I'm not going to let you around me anymore. We might have been close in the past when I was lost, when I was weak, when you could take advantage of me. But now that I know who I am, I don't want you in my life anymore. See, these are decisions that you can only make if you know who you are. Those who are prone to falling should not be walking in slippery places. What are the things that cause you to fall? What are the things that cause you to stumble? And, so many people, they think they get a little bit of strength. And then they think, oh, I can handle this. And they come to find out later that they can't. They might be able to handle something for a brief period of time. And the next thing you know, they slip, they fall, and now they're face down in the ground again. It is better and wiser if you stay away from the things that cause you to stumble. This means cutting people off that no longer deserve to be in your life. Jesus says, look, anyone who causes these little ones to stumble, they're going to pay a penalty. And he says, these little ones, and then he says, those who believe in me. Are you around people that are bringing you down, or are they lifting you up? Are you surrounded by people who encourage you, or they just take advantage of you? It's hard when you haven't loved yourself, when you don't know who you are, you haven't stood up for yourself, it's very difficult because some days you wake up and you realize, wait a minute, I just realized who I am. I just realized that I've been doing all of this for all of these years and it doesn't make any sense. Jesus says these crazy stories. If your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out. If your hand causes you to stumble, cut it off. He's not telling you to do that literally. He's giving you an extreme visual, mental example in your mind so that you realize, he said it would be better if you walked without this than to walk with it if it causes you to stumble. You know, there are decisions that I have made that I do regret. There's a lot of time that I've lost. But even in the hard times, in those darkest moments of my life, God was calling out to me. He was introducing himself to me. He was showing me who he was so that I could fall in love with him. And then he was showing me that I'm his child so that I could fall in love with myself. If you do not love yourself, you will not make decisions that will benefit your future. If I have no hope, then it doesn't matter what I'm doing today. If I don't have hope for the future, then I'm not planting seeds today that will benefit me in the future. But once I start realizing who I am, I start having a strength that I've never had. You start walking in this newness of life. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. Once you know who you are, you can start making decisions in accordance with your identity. What have you been struggling with? Are you feeling alone? Call out to God. And if you are around people that don't love God and don't love anything, they're never going to be able to help you. They're only going to hurt you. And they may have already hurt you, but they can always hurt you more. Only you can say, you know what? I'm getting off the ground. I'm not going to stay here anymore. I'm not doing this. I have done this, and actually I did this for way too long. I have been in this relationship, but I'm not going to stay in it. I have been in a business that I know I shouldn't be in. I've had these friends around me, so-called friends around me, and you know what? I'd rather be by myself for a season than to keep these people in my life. But once you have that revelation, only you can get up off your butt and do something about it. Only you can say, you know what? This is not me anymore. I know you wanted me to be this. I know you expect me to be this, but I cannot be what you want me to be. I cannot be, and I'm no longer going to try to be what you expect me to be. I know what you think I should be, but guess what? That's not who I am. I'm grown, and I get to define my own self. I get to tell you what my identity is. You don't get to tell me. Yes, I've made mistakes in the past. I have felonies. I have drug charges. I've been to prison. Those were mistakes that I made, but they don't define me. They are a part of who I am, and I've learned from those mistakes, but I'm not a slave to those bad choices. I don't have to stay in your bad opinions of me. I'm not a slave to the negative things that you say about me because I finally know who I am. I stand, and I do not stand alone. This whole journey has brought me to my right now, and right now I finally know. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. These are the types of people I want to be around. These are the types of people I want to stay away from. When you meet someone new, if they start showing you signs that they're a snake, recognize that. God is pulling up the curtain and he's saying, hey, look, this person here you need to stay away from, but only you can make that decision. God can teach you things and you can either implement them in your life or you can ignore them. He is not going to force you to do anything. You can be warned that the road you're on is going to cause you major problems and you can still walk on it and ignore it. Or you can say, you know what? I thought I was going this way. I thought this was the right way to go. But you know what? I don't think that's true anymore. I've been on this journey for a season and I don't want to be on this road anymore. I think before I suffer any more harm and damage to my life and to my own self, I think it's what's wise right now is to cut my losses. And to say, you know what? I've invested my time, I've invested my money into something that now I know it's not worth my investment anymore. Now that I know who I am, I'm okay with that. You know, I have to forgive my own self. I've made a lot of mistakes. You have to let God's forgiveness not just be for your past sins and for other people's sins, but you have to forgive yourself because this is a learning experience. Life is a process. It's a journey. You're not going to know everything you need to know, and you'll never come to a day in your life where you know everything. You are constantly learning every single day. You're getting updated information about other people, about life, about yourself, and you implement it. You are on this journey. and you are being educated every step of the way. And you are learning. You're learning who to be around and who not to be around. You're learning what causes me to stumble. Let me stay away from that. I did it for so long. People expected me to stay doing that. But other people's opinions and their expectations of me, that does not enslave me. I don't have to do what they want me to do. I don't have to be who they wanted me to be. In fact, I'm far more comfortable and more happy and more satisfied just being me. Look, guys, I talk all the time. I never sit still. I can't sit still. I've been this way since I was a child. Anybody who's like, Ryan, I'm going to need you to be quiet and sit still, and that's how our relationship's going to be, guess what? We're not going to have a relationship. Because I'm not going to be who you want me to be. I am perfectly happy and content and satisfied being me. And if you have these expectations of me, that you want me to be something that I'm not, then guess what? I'm not going to satisfy those expectations. I'm not going to invest my time anymore. If you need me to be that, then we are not going to be friends. We're not going to be in a relationship. We're not going to be business partners because I can't be what you want me to be, but I'm really good at being me. Do you know yourself? Have you given yourself a self-checkup? Are you being honest with yourself? Not just about some things, about everything. I got to give myself a self-checkup all the time. What am I doing? Where am I going? Is this working? Is it not working? Because sometimes you do things and you find out this is not working. And I'm not going to keep doing it because it's not working. I will trust God and He will open up another door of opportunity. And this right here isn't it. But I'm going to keep trusting God. And around this corner, I don't see it yet. I see Him, but I don't see it yet. I'm going to trust Him blindly. I'm going to let Him direct my steps. And He's going to show me what He needs me to do around this corner. That's what faith is. It's the substance of things hoped for. I don't see it yet, but I know He's got me. God is with me at all times. I am not afraid because I am not alone. I have come too far to turn back around. But the good and the bad has taught me how to know myself. Do you know yourself? Are you familiar with your weaknesses and your strengths? Are you making decisions in accordance with what you are and what you're becoming and who you were always meant to be? If you find yourself lost and alone and afraid in some relationship, a business that you don't need to be in, don't waste any more time. Walk away right now. Is it easy? Absolutely not. But some of the greatest things you will ever learn come through very difficult moments. Don't think you're going to get amazing things out of just all this simplistic, easy stuff. No, you don't learn anything in the easy stuff. It's the hard times and the hard decisions that bring out your best. And then when you're faced with another hard decision or a hard time in the future, guess what? You can remember, oh, you know what? I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. I'm going to use this wisdom. I'm going to define myself in my relationship with God. I am a child of God who is filled with the love of God. I have a destiny. I don't care about watches and clothes and cars. I care about other people. See, some people, they only care about material things. They proclaim that they love people, but they don't show it. Boy, they know the words, but they don't know the actions. I genuinely care about other people who are in my situation because I want to show the love and give back the love of God that He gave to me. I'm encouraging you today to walk holding the hand of your Father, to turn your life around, to make decisions that are better for you, to learn how to define yourself. What is your identity? Who are you? And once you know who you are, you will make decisions in accordance with that, with your identity. Those who are prone to falling should not be walking in slippery places. Have a wonderful day.